they were reloaded and just continued to get banged up on the defensive side of the ball. And for, Princeton, again, to not be vying for an Ivy League title, same goes for Penn. In the final week of the season, they're going to have to find that juice that they normally get from having this game mean something in terms of winning an Ivy League ring.
Sam Smith, the junior from Gaithersburg, Maryland, set to tee it up. Tigers have Kenny Jordan and Charlie Rossi back deep to receive the opening kickoff. Last year's game, a wild one down at Franklin Field. Despite Princeton getting 7 takeaways, Penn had a chance to win it on the final drive, and they fell just short. Tigers have won 4 of the last 5 meetings. Smith, the junior, puts the leg into it, and this will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so it'll be Princeton football to open up the contest. And we'll get our first look at the Tigers' first-year starter at quarterback. Blaine Hippa, starting for the 9th time in 10 games, missed the Week 2 victory against Howard with a hand injury, but he's been out there the other 9 contests. Overall numbers, not that great, but he's been better the last 3 games. 62%, 6 touchdowns, just 1 interception, and throwing for 220 yards a contest. Tigers football from the 25, first down give. John Volker, the senior on senior day, could take it the distance. Has one man to beat down the far sideline, and John Volker is going to go 75 yards. What a start for the orange and black on senior day.
I was going to say, Cody, Princeton's going to have to get the running game going to control time of possession, but why not just strike first and strike on the first offensive play of the game? How about that start to senior day for John Volker?
We've talked a lot about the offensive line and some of the struggles this year for the Tigers. What a job by that one to open up a hole, and Volker untouched, 75 yards.
Keeps it clean.
Sam Masick's extra point is good. That's the start the Tigers wanted to get off to. 7-0 Princeton, just 11 seconds in.
And for Princeton, obviously, you see the record 2-7. They get to play from ahead after one offensive play. What a start for the Princeton Tigers as they take a 7-0 lead here at home on senior day.
Contest, 75 yards to pay dirt for that man in the middle, number 2, John Volker, one of the senior captains on his senior day. Longest run of his career, the longest play from scrimmage for the Tigers offense this season. John's older brother, Charlie, 32 career rushing touchdowns. And John, despite the fact that he's missed 9 games due to injury the last 3 seasons, that's career rushing touchdown number 17.
You talk about toughness and grit. I mean, John Volker is the definition. He always fights through injuries. Always just seems a little banged up, but on senior day, he shows up huge on the first offensive play of the game. And a great job by the offensive line in getting him past the first and second levels of the defense and the third level untouched.
Penn has one of the nation's top return men back. Julian Stokes tries to pick it off his shoestrings, kicks it out of bounds, and Penn will be backed up at the 4.
So far, everything going Princeton's way. And a huge opportunity for the Princeton defense to make their presence felt just like the offense did on their first possession with the Penn Quakers and quarterback Liam O'Brien coming out in the shadow of their own end zone.
Liam O'Brien didn't open the season as the starter. That was 4th-year starter Aiden Sayin, who suffered a season-ending injury week 6 against Yale. O'Brien came in. Penn got blown out by the Bulldogs in that one, and since then, O'Brien 2-1 as a starter. 14 touchdowns in those 3 starts. Backed up at their 4, give to the best running back in the Ivy League, Malachi Hosley, averaging about 6 yards a carry. Picks up a couple up to the 9.
And a great carry on first down just to get a little more breathing room and really just out of danger, safety territory for the Penn Quakers. But Malachi Hosley, in what's almost 2 seasons, just one of the best backs you're going to see in this league.
Gain of 5 on the first down carry, 2nd down and 5. Receiver in motion. Here's O'Brien. Gets hit in the backfield, gets pushed backwards. They're going to give them forward progress at the 5-yard line, but the Princeton defense swarming on second down.
Swarming is the right word. See here, does he ever actually get to that 5? Yes. So that's when contact started. They wrapped him up, forced him backwards, but good call by the officials on forward progress at the 5. But still a loss of a few on 3rd and long for Penn.
Peyton Talley, number 20. He's a safety by trade, getting the start at outside linebacker with Marco Scarano playing inside at 200 pounds. Take a look at the Princeton defensive starters. 3 upperclassmen up front. Talley and Scarano swapping positions. 2 sophomores at corners. 2 talented juniors at safety. On 3rd down, O'Brien hit as he throws into some coverage. Incomplete. Taj Owens there in coverage on Jared Richardson. And Penn's got an offensive lineman, Aaron Cruz, their starting right tackle, down in the end zone as we take another look.
Great ISO shot here, fighting through the block. And that's 2 quarterback hits and 2 successive plays.
A.J. Pigford, the 2-time Ivy Rookie of the Week. Jerry Rice Award watch list, number 28, the first to the quarterback. He got tangled up with Cruz, who's being attended to by the Penn training staff.
The start of their college seasons being a little bit stunted helped them grow a lot closer with one another and experiencing the highs of some big wins at Princeton. It hits a little bit different on senior day this year, says Bob Serace.
Albert Jang to punt it away. The Tigers, not with Barber back there, it's Rossi. He's going to elect to field it. Gets it back up across the 35. Jang and the Penn punt coverage, the nation's number 1 punt defense unit, allowing negative yards on average per return. Good start for the Tigers, a 7-0 lead, and they'll have the offense right back out there after they were in the backfield on Liam O'Brien.
Yeah, really good job by the defense of making their presence felt and keeping Liam O'Brien a little uneasy in the backfield. That'll go a long way if they prevent the quarterback from getting into a rhythm as long as possible. And for the Princeton offense now with relatively good field position, but can't depend on one play scoring drive. So we'll see how they put this one together.
Heath Clark in at running back. Give to the sophomore on 1st down from the 38. Spins off the initial tackle and then dragged down by Kadari Machen, the Sam linebacker. Worth noting, Penn without their leading tackler, the 4th leading tackler in the Ivy League, John Liston Jr., out of Rumson Fairhaven, former high school teammate with John Volker. Take a look at the Princeton offensive starters. Volker, the senior, Colella, Gear, Barber, 3 seniors, Camo getting the start at tight end, and they've got 4 seniors on the offensive line. Hippa steps up, shakes the initial tackle, and picks up a couple, gain of about 4 on that 2nd down scramble. Blaine Hippa talked about it, right? Princeton, Blake Stenstrom started every game the last 2 seasons. The quarterbacks on the Tigers roster coming into this year had combined to throw 1 pass.
Yeah, it was the great unknown was the quarterback position, which is a scary place to be with the most important position on the field. But Hippa's done a good job getting better and better every week. And, you know, the one thing he is he's truly a dual threat quarterback. And I think the football IQ continues to get better and better. He has good escapability, and he's been more decisive in recent weeks.
A couple of 6'5" targets down to the left. Play clock was down to 1 when the Tigers snapped it. Hippa downfield looking for one of them. There's Gear. 1-on-1, and it's knocked away by Shiloh Means, the safety. Means has been banged up a little bit, but he's a 2-time All-Ivy selection and one of the veteran leaders for this Penn defense.
Looks like this one hung up there a little bit, but, you know, Jalen Gear, you said it, he's 6'5", but when he doesn't go up and get it with his hands and allows it to come down to his belt, he's not 6'5" anymore. So you've got to go up and take advantage of your size and meet the ball at its highest point. Could have won that jump ball.
Princeton going right into the wind here, so you wonder if that was the intention. Throw it up right. He's 6'5". Shiloh Means is 5'11", but the wind maybe knocked it down. 4th down and 5 from the 43. Clark on to punt it away. Penn nearly gets a piece of it, but the sophomore gets it off. Hits a Penn player, bounces. Tough day special teams-wise, but the Quakers are able to end up with a football with Julian Stokes.
Great job by Stokes because, as you said, Cody, it was a live ball. Stokes recognized it right away, and great hands to come away with that. That was not an easy snag, and he got wrapped up right away. So as we take another look, it's a live ball. 13 recognizes it right away on a short hop. I mean, that's a great play to not give up possession to a swarm of Princeton Tigers.
Big defensive stand by Penn, making Princeton punt after the 75-yard run on the first play and then the 3-and-out. Let's see if they go back to their bell cow. Malachi Hosley, who's averaging 6.2 yards per carry. Patient run and right into the arms of Pickford, the freshman.
So Steve Verbit, the longtime defensive coordinator at Princeton, you can tell right away he's going to put a lot of players in the box because he knows Malachi Hosley is the best back in the league. So right now he's daring Liam O'Brien in the Penn passing game to beat the Princeton defense, and you're going to see an empty backfield here.
Liam O'Brien 2 weeks ago, after that 67-point outburst against Cornell, the Ivy Offensive Player of the Week. 2nd down and 9. O'Brien rolling left, Hosley rolling with him. He's going to fire downfield, and that one's complete. First down, just shy of midfield. Jared Drayton, just his 10th catch of the season.
A great catch by Drayton, and what a throw by O'Brien. Moving to his left as a right-handed quarterback, pretty much the hardest throw in the book, and he gets great zip on it, combined with great accuracy.
O'Brien last year played a good amount, but he was a situational guy. 3rd down, 4th down, 6 touchdowns on 20 carries, just 2 pass attempts last year as a sophomore. O'Brien, the junior, rolling right, sideline, throws it for BC Owens, and it's incomplete. Talking to Ray Priori earlier this week, he talked about BC Owens, 6'4", 215, has a basketball background, and you can see the play design there.
Yeah, he came down with the rebound there. He was just out of bounds, but
that was close.
That was closer than it looked live, and Ray Priori lit up talking about BC Owens and exactly how that recruiting came. They saw him playing basketball, took him outside and said, catch some footballs. Said, I think you can do this at a very high level. He has.
Owens 9th in the Ivy League in receiving yards coming into this one. 7-0 Tigers, second Penn possession after they went 3-and-out. And the play clock hits 0, and that'll be a delay of game against the Quakers.
Delay of game. Offense, number 2, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Not particularly close there. The entire Princeton sideline calling for it.
Tom Zetz, our referee today.
So 2nd and 15 for the Penn Quakers, and they want to stay ahead of the chain so that they can rely on Malachi Hosley and the running game. 2nd and 15, you can certainly still run the ball with a talented back.
Tight end off the right tackle. Rolling right, running. O'Brien fires, and it's incomplete. Looking for Hosley out of the backfield. Hosley does have 11 catches for 80 yards to go along with those 1,079 rushing yards.
He's a great back, but as you said, not a ton of catches this year. O'Brien, though, you see the athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete, had a chance to go play other sports at other schools. His entire family seemingly were athletes at Cornell, and he obviously had a big game against the Big Red this year.
3rd down and 15. Screen pass, bubble, right side. Drayton looking for a seam, gets across midfield, but is tackled about 3 or 4 yards shy of the first down marker by Owens.
Great tackle by Taj Owens, because if he's able to break that tackle, it might be a first down because there were blockers ahead of him. But with the winds swirling, you know, when they're in field goal range, you might see some 4th down or teams going for 4th down when they otherwise might not. But here, close to midfield, Penn's going to go for it on 4th and 4.
Good job by Owens shedding that tackle, got off the block. Drayton stacked left side behind one of their tight ends, and flags are down. Princeton pointing it at Penn.
Ball start. Offense, number 54, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So Michael Zach, who I believe is in at right tackle with Aaron Cruz out with an injury, and there he is. He was the one that Owens was able to shed to get the tackle to make it 4th down.
And it just looked like there was some miscommunication with the receiving corps going into that play. And when it's 4th and 4, you know, hindsight's 20/20, but maybe a timeout there, because now on 4th and 9, you've got no choice but to punt the ball away.
Princeton had Rossi back for the first Penn punt. This will be A.J. Barber, camped out at his own 10. Albert Jang, the senior from Duluth, Georgia, rugby-style kicker. High, not that deep. Fair catch called for and made at the 21. So that's just a 31-yard punt, no return, and then some flags after the play.
Penn players clapping as though it's against Princeton. So we'll see if it got chippy after the whistle.
Busy day already for Tom Zetz and the rest of his crew.
Holding. Return team, number 17. 10-yard penalty. It's down.
First penalty today against the Tigers, who coming into this one, the 5th least penalized team in the FCS. Not surprising from a Bob Serace-led squad, and also not surprising that 3 of the 6 least penalized teams in the country come from the Ivy League. There's Bob Serace, 14th season.
Not very often you see a holding call on a fair
catch.
I figured it was late hit, unnecessary roughness, or some sort of personal foul.
Princeton went 75 yards on one play on their first drive. They had to punt on their second drive. They'll start drive number 3 backed up at their own 10. Volker in the backfield. Hippa, the lefty, screen pass right side. Mahoney didn't have any blocking and had a couple of Quakers right in the vicinity.
Hippa gets it out of his hand quickly, and Mahoney trying to elude a tackler but doesn't free up the left hand for a stiff arm or any sort of defense, essentially. That's tough to get by.
6-yard gain. The Tigers will take it on first down.
It's a good chunk.
2nd down and 4 from the 16. Quakers rush 5, floated near side. That's the senior Mahoney. Cuts it up and has the first down for the Tigers. Matthew Mahoney came in with just 7 catches on the season. Had just 1 catch the past couple of weeks. It was a career-long 38-yarder 2 weeks ago against Dartmouth, but he's got 2 catches and a first down on this drive.
And pretty tall receiver for the routes he runs at 6'2".
Ball batted up in the air, nearly intercepted as they were looking near sideline for Colella.
And if they can get Mahoney, maybe Barber going on the inside on those underneath, more possession routes, not that Barber can't hit home runs, you know he can. But you talk about the big fellas outside, like Gear at 6'5", that can really open things up if you get the underneath routes completed.
Connor Martin, the big 6'4" freshman, a New Jersey native, the player who batted that down. Hippa's been sacked more than any other quarterback in the country, and they get him here on 2nd down. Kadari Machin once again.
Great job by the Penn defense of keying in on the quarterback and not letting them out of his sight, because Hippa was dancing and prancing and doing everything he could to get away from it. Just take a look at this. Spins around, tries his best, but good pursuit by the Quakers.
Loss of 6, 3rd down and 16, back at the 16-yard line. Volker in the backfield. 3 wideouts and a tight end. 4-man rush. Hippa hit as he throws over the middle. Incomplete. Barber closest to it for the Tigers with the free safety, Julian Talley, over the top. And the Tigers move the chains once, but they'll have to send Brady Clark on to punt it away for the 2nd time.
Almost looks like there might have been some miscommunication on the route, because it looks like Barber could have maybe made that catch, but thought that maybe there was a cross coming the other way that the pass was intended for. Not certain, but Barber kind of looked around like there might have been some miscommunication.
Julian Stokes camped out right at midfield. Clark rolls right, gets it away against the wind. A pretty good punt. Stokes trying to make a man miss, gets a couple brought down by Kayvon Miller. But Penn will start their drive down 7-0 right around midfield.
Yeah, so this game certainly calmed down since that first offensive play where John Volker took it 73 yards. And now just kind of ping-ponging back and forth in terms of possession and good defense from both sides.
We've had the Volker 75-yard run. We've had the Liam O'Brien 23-yard completion to Drayton Outside of that, the longest play has been 6 yards as we take a look at Ray Priori. 9th season as Penn's head coach, but he was on the sideline as an assistant for nearly 3 decades before that. From the Quaker 48, delayed handoff, no play fake. O'Brien across the middle. Richardson makes the catch, gets hit hard. And a flag comes in. Peyton Talley laid the lumber, but maybe took the brunt of it.
Yeah, I think that flag comes in because they're going to have to review it because of where Talley's helmet ended up. Not saying it definitely was targeting. My guess is that's what they're going to take a look at. But when people think of targeting, they often think of the offensive player as the target and therefore taking the brunt of the hit. But more often than not, when you lead with your head as a defensive player, you're putting yourself at risk of injury.
Personal foul. Targeting. Number 20, Princeton, under further review.
So all is targeting, and now they're going to take a look at it to see whether or not Peyton Talley stays in the game.
And we've gotten a great explanation from the officials up here in the booth from a replay perspective who came down a year ago and really took a deep dive. Steve Miller came in and really explained. We sat down and we went through targeting, and it was a fascinating conversation, and one that's paid dividends. It's a 6-inch halo at the top of the helmet. So it's not just leading with the head. You have to lead really with the crown. And this one is going to be very, very close.
Peyton Talley, who's one of those 33 seniors honored pregame, was a starting safety last year for the Tigers. Has slid up to Sam linebacker, that outside linebacker position, as Marco Scarano's had to move inside. Let's see if he did lead with the crown.
It looks like it might be more towards the forehead, closer to the top of the face mask. So I don't know if it's going to meet the definition based on that 6-inch circle at the top of the helmet.
The good news was Peyton Talley wasn't down on the field that long. He was able to pop up and get off to the sideline. Talked about all the injuries defensively for the Tigers. That's a reason Peyton Talley's out there, not at his normal safety position where he started a season ago.
How about the catch? I mean, the toughness coming across. You've got to know that hit's coming.
We've talked Liam O'Brien. We've talked a lot about Malachi Hosley. We haven't talked a lot about Jared Richardson, who had 3 touchdowns against the Tigers Week 10 a year ago at Franklin Field. He's done that twice. He's the only receiver in program history for Penn with multiple 3-touchdown games. He's got 200-yard games this year.
First down, Penn.
No foul for targeting. So first down for Penn. Peyton Talley is able to stay in the contest, and they pick the flag up.
And thanks to Steve Miller, we really understand the rule now and have been predicting it right more often than we've been predicting it wrong.
Is that your party trick?
Yes. People are very impressed with my knowledge around the targeting rule now. But I take no credit.
After a gutsy catch by Richardson, 10 yards across midfield, first down at the Tiger 42 as Penn looks to even this one up. Handoff, Malachi Hosley cutting left, trying to bounce outside. There's a flag comes in. That's going to be holding. Got a big block from the left tackle, Oliveri. He's going to take it to the end zone, but this one likely coming back.
And we'll get the official call right now.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
And sometimes what happens, Cody, you see how shifty Hosley is, and he starts going left, jukes back right a couple of times, and that can actually cause the holding because he's not pursuing the block the way the blocker thinks he is, and it turns into a hold.
Unpredictability, normally good when you're trying to trick the opposing defense, but you're saying it backfired a little bit.
If he goes on the left edge, that's not holding, right? But because he cuts back inside, Princeton sees it, the blocker doesn't. It's a hold.
That'll knock Penn back across midfield. First down and 20. Stokes in motion. They pitch it. He's been active in the return game, and the Tigers able to sniff it out. Just a 2-yard gain to midfield. Robert Sanders in there on the tackle. Aaron Richard, number 58, the defensive end, doing a great job getting to the perimeter.
Great pursuit by Princeton so far, really coming from the outside and getting at the line of scrimmage and not allowing runners to get a ton of steam.
Thought that was Richard. That was Chase Christopher, the sophomore, who started camp third or fourth on the depth chart. He's been the Tigers' leading tackler. Fired over the middle, wedged in there for Stokes, who makes the catch at the 35. And on 2nd down and 18, that'll make it 3rd down and 3.
So Steve Herbert has brought down those linebackers into the box to stop the run, but where you've seen them be pretty vulnerable is kind of mid to long throws in the center of the field, because you're taking that second level towards the line of scrimmage, and the safeties can only do so much back there. So Penn's kind of found a gap, but if you're Princeton's defense and you start favoring that and guarding the center of the field mid to deep, that's where Malachi Hosley can be lethal.
3rd down and 3, a motion man. Bubble screen, left side. Richardson hit immediately and then tumbled down to the ground by Talley. It's an incomplete pass. Torian Robertson on coverage, the sophomore corner. Really interestingly drawn up play. They had the running back Jamal Bing in motion around the quarterback pre-snap.
Yeah, good design, but on these wide receiver bubble screens, it doesn't give the quarterback a lot of options. The play is take the snap, get the ball out of your hand, and there's not enough time to really read the defense, so it can be pretty risky.
Penn will keep the offense on the field. 4th down and 3 at the Princeton 35. O'Brien, he was a running specialist last year, met by Scarano, and I think he just got there.
Yep, they're going to give it to him. What a second effort by the quarterback to get the first down. Take another look. Good patience to pick kind of his first run, and then really a second effort is just enough to get past the line to gain.
Talked about O'Brien's role last year, 6 touchdowns on just 20 carries, that 3rd and 4th down option for Ray Priori. Came into this one with 4 rushing touchdowns and nearly 300 yards on the ground. O'Brien going deep, looking to tie it, double coverage, and it's incomplete. Princeton had Nasir Hill, the safety, with some help on Torian Roberts, and they were looking for their big tight end, Justin Cayenne.
And Nasir Hill saw it the whole way, just couldn't get there. He had his eyes on an interception coming from that safety position. So good coverage and good job by the Princeton defense of not biting too hard on that pump fake, but a good throw.
Princeton's got 2 of the best young safeties. I say young, just juniors in what's normally a senior-dominated league. Nasir Hill and Taj Owens. 2nd down and 10 at the Princeton 32. O'Brien, quick hit, left side. Richardson looking for some yards after the catch. Lost the football, but it stepped out of bounds. And it's Penn 1st down. Are they going to mark him just short?
They're going to mark him short, and I don't know about that spot. Take a look here. Maybe that left foot might have been a yard short.
At the Tiger 23.
The official was right on top of it and had a better view than any of our cameras did.
I was going to say a lot closer than we are.
Yeah. 3rd down and 1 at the 23. Penn 0 for 2 on 3rd down. Hosley needed to get a yard, and he didn't. Tackled at the line of scrimmage by the Tigers. Malachi Hosley, who came into this one averaging over 6 yards per carry, now has 3 carries for 6 yards against the Princeton defense.
I mean, that's the game plan coming in, is stop Hosley and force everyone else on the Penn offense to beat you. But the first part of that, stopping Hosley, is not easy. They're doing it so far. Hosley's going to start in the slot here. Wouldn't be surprised to see him in motion.
4th down and 1. There comes Hosley, and he'll settle in off the left hip of the quarterback. Let's see if O'Brien tries to take it himself. Motions the tight end Myers. Give Hosley, cut back up the middle, and gets 3 yards for the 1st down. Pretty good chance no one's going to stop Hosley for no gain on back-to-back plays.
That's right. And a nice job of bringing him in next to O'Brien, and it really is a guessing game because you have an athletic quarterback, the best running back in the league, and that's hard to plan for on short yardage situations.
Fresh set of downs as the Quakers convert on third down for the first time. Handoff Hosley running left. Pigford gets him from behind. Colin Taylor in on the stop as well for the Tigers. To put it into perspective, the Ivy League's second leading rusher, a player that the Tigers know all too well from Yale last week, Joshua Pitzenberger. Pitzenberger coming into today 394 yards less than Malachi Hosley through just 9 games.
Yeah, I mean, that's a half season of yards.
Princeton, prior to that Volker run, didn't have anyone on their roster that had 394 rushing yards. That's the difference between Hosley and the number 2 back in the Ivy League.
It's just a tremendous season for Hosley as Bing comes in on that play, and Hosley gets a breather. Looks like Bing will come off now. We'll see what package they do bring in. Hosley not on the field.
Penn converted the fourth down to keep the drive alive. 0 for 3 on third down today. This will be a 3rd down and 5 at the Tiger 15. Cayenne, the tight end, settles off the left tackle. O'Brien surveys, looks left, looks right, wedges it in. First down. Short of the goal line, but a first down to B.C. Owens, the big junior.
And you would expect Hosley to come back out onto the field with the ball on the 2-yard line. So far, he's not doing so it might just be a jumbo package.
They did a lot of this with O'Brien last year. He's now the starter. O'Brien running right, a little bit of hesitation, and that costs him. A.J. Pigford having a heck of a freshman season for the Tigers.
And that's just a breakdown on the offensive line because they brought in the big boys, the jumbo package, but off that left side, it just collapsed. And Princeton was in the backfield before O'Brien could make a decision on where to go.
Pigford, who's not technically a starter, already has 5 tackles in the first quarter. He's on the Jerry Rice Award watch list. That's the top freshman in the nation at the FCS level. Running left, O'Brien has a man rolling. That's Stokes, and it's a Quaker touchdown. Thought Stokes was just going to take his ball and leave and run down that Penn tunnel, but it's a 1-point contest and a well-drawn-up play inside the 10 for the Quakers.
Run, Julian, run. 5-yard touchdown run, but he doesn't take it through the tunnel. Great job by O'Brien. Kind of keeps the defense in limbo because he holds on to it. So the defense couldn't commit to the quarterback, couldn't commit to the wide receiver. Gave O'Brien a lot of time to make a decision and made the right one.
Extra point by Sam Smith. Ties this one at 7 as the first quarter comes to an end. Liam O'Brien, this is his 4th start. That was his 12th passing touchdown the last 4 weeks.
Great job here, rolling out to his left. And finds pay dirt. Tie game, 7-7 here on Senior Day. Still having a chance.
Sam Smith's kickoff in the swirling wind bounces. Rossi has to shoot up and cover that one up. That was a live football, and the Tigers catch a break. The wind is a factor today.
Definitely a factor. Surprised we're not seeing some more like low line drives. But it's kind of swirling here at Powers Field. So as I said earlier, when you think you're in field goal range, you might not be in field goal range.
The number's a little bit deceiving because Princeton's first offensive play went for a 75-yard John Volker touchdown run. Penn's run 21 plays. Princeton has run just 9. Time of possession, the Tigers had the football for just 3.5 minutes in the first quarter. On the ground, Ethan Clark lowers the shoulder, picks up 5 or 6 up to the 24.
And just to build on that, Cody, Penn with, over 11 minutes of possession to Princeton around 3.5 minutes. And that's without Penn really getting the running game going. Hippa Just 2 of 5, the 2 receptions, both to Matthew Mahoney. Couple of targets around Asenka, Colella, and Barber, but you got to take some shots down the field, keep the running game going to try to even up that time of possession, because that will come back to get you on a cold day.
Princeton first plays 75 yards. Their next 2 drives, 3 plays 5 yards, 5 plays 6 yards. Some motion, running left, trying for the option, and it never developed. Hippa tackled for a loss in the backfield. Max Batolsky, the senior outside linebacker, with the pursuit.
Yeah, the play fake to Ethan Clark fakes out absolutely nobody. And Hippa tries to get to the edge. Barber's kind of there as an option, but as you said, it really never came to fruition, and a great job by Penn in sniffing it out.
Loss of a couple brings up 3rd down and 6 as the Tigers motion Jalen Gear. 7-man rush, quick hit, right side, complete, but short of the first down marker to A.J. Barber. Looks like he's about a half a yard short.
I think senior day, you see who wants it more up front here. You go for it on 4th down. Looks like they're going to go with Ethan Clark in the backfield, not the senior John Volker, who is known for getting tough short yards, but Ethan Clark is a tremendous back as well.
4th down and 1, low snap, running right, and a flag comes in to blow this one dead.
False start.
Well drawn up play.
False start. Offense. Everyone but the center. 4th down.
It's just easier that way.
Yeah, it means the snap should have gone earlier. And snap was late. And now both teams, when they've had a chance on 4th and short, have had a false start that forces them to punt instead. And again, punting here, the wind, I guess you could call it at the back of Princeton here, but we'll see how this goes.
From the 22, Clark just gets it away, and that's going to draw a flag as this one chases Stokes back inside the 25, and he's going to get up to the 30. So that's going to be about a 54-yard punt, but this one,
Ray Priori not happy about this call on the far sideline.
this is a huge call, and we'll see if this is roughing or running into the kicker. It's already been flagged 3 times today before this one.
If it's running, you might see Princeton go for it again on 4th and 1. If it's roughing, it'll be the automatic first down once they pick it up.
Running into the kicker. Return team. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And now you would think the Tigers, they were going to go for it before the false start, although they showed their hands. You would figure they'd send the offense back out.
I think Bob Serace likely would have declined it and just taken a 50-plus yard punt
100%.
if he wasn't intending on going for it here.
So that's the 4th Penn penalty of the contest, and it gives the Tigers new life. 4th down and 1 at their own 27, and they'll come out with the same personnel.
And this is going to be a swing in momentum one way or the other. Either a huge stop for the Penn Quakers and great field position for O'Brien and company, or Princeton can continue their offensive drive.
They tried to go option right with Hippa. This time it's Ethan Clark. Had a steam up the middle, and it's a Princeton first down. Clark coming off a great day last week at the Yale Bowl. 12 carries, 79 yards, including the Tigers' first 2 touchdowns. Also 4 catches for 55 yards, and nothing fancy that time.
Good job just running north and south and keeping his feet churning.
Clark, his best game of the season, 117 yards in a Week 4 loss down in Macon, Georgia, against a Mercer team that leads the nation in rush defense. Hippa off his back foot. Misses Colella badly, and it's incomplete. Not sure if that was miscommunication or just trying to throw it away without throwing it out of bounds.
Well, you see Hippa talking to Colella downfield, so likely some miscommunication on the route, but the ball falls innocently to the turf.
Second down and 10 for the Tigers. 7-7 game. Princeton scored on their first play. Penn tied it up on the final play of the first quarter. Hippa with two backers in his face, dumps it off. Clark makes the catch, has the first down up across the 40. Ethan Clark last year as a freshman played about 100 snaps, didn't get a single carry, so they've been looking for ways to get him involved in the offense. Mid-season injury to Darion Murphy has opened up some snaps, and the sophomore's taken advantage.
Great job there. Good play design on the middle screen, and Machen did a good job as well in pursuit.
A lot of pre-snap motion and a flag from the top side. And it'll be against the Tigers.
So not a false start, maybe lined up offsides.
That's Luke Colella, the senior receiver, who comes in just inside the top 10 in receiving yards in the Ivy League.
So Princeton backs up a bit. Now 1st and 15. Volker in the backfield.
Two teams that don't get flagged a lot. That's the seventh penalty we've seen combined here in the first half. Bubble screen, right side. That's A.J. Barber getting it up just shy of midfield. Gain of about 4 will bring up second down.
And so often you've seen A.J. Barber on the bubble screens kind of behind the line of scrimmage. I like this play design to get moving north and south and then seeing what he can do with yards after the catch once his momentum is moving forward.
Motion man is the tight end, Wassler. Hippa, the lefty, rolls that way. Far sideline, complete. Luke Colella, Princeton, first down to the 40.
And I know that looked like a routine throw and catch. I think that's one of the better throws by Hippa that we've seen this season, just in terms of timing with Luke Colella. Colella runs his route, comes back, the ball is there, first down, get out of bounds. That is good, efficient football.
And one of the storylines of the first-year starter, a guy that hasn't played a lot of football, really even late in his high school career because of some of the time missed to COVID. Can he make adjustments? And when the timing's been just a little bit off all day, that was a good design and a good read.
Yeah. And Colella hasn't had the huge season. You know, he came in with 480 receiving yards on the year, and that's because that timing's just been a little bit off. But on that play, it was not.
Loss of 1 on the first down run by Volker. Second down and 11. There's Luke Colella, the senior from just outside Pittsburgh. Princeton trying to take the lead back. 7-7 game, 5 minutes deep into the second quarter. Week 10 Ivy League contest here on Powers Field. Hippa, quick look, right side. Colella makes the catch. Alec Wills drives him out of bounds, and it's a gain of 6.
Colella is a name we should say a lot during a game, and sometimes this season that hasn't been the case. But 2 quick catches for the senior on senior day bodes well for the rhythm and tempo of this offense.
Third down and 4 at the Quaker 34. Colella slot right, Holstein and Gear, the 2 wide men. Hippa is going to try to tuck it and run. Can't get past that initial rush. And for the Quakers, that's Bryce Hall, the senior defensive lineman with the stop. Hippa just couldn't sneak through.
It was a great decision by Hippa because there was nothing but turf. But to your point, Cody, Hall did a nice job of turning around and bringing him down with one arm. Otherwise, he might still be running.
These two teams a combined 3 for 3 on fourth down as Hippa empties the backfield, so 4 wideouts left.
Keep an eye on Barber now in motion. Looks like it might be a zone here.
Fourth down and 5. 4-man rush. Hippa fires the slant. Colella makes the catch, loses the football. They're going to say it's incomplete. Would have been a first down for the Tigers, but instead it'll be Penn getting the football back.
And it's actually better for Penn that that's incomplete than a fumble because of the yardage difference there. It was man-to-man coverage, so I think the first read might have been Barber. Wasn't there because the linebacker really keyed in on 86. Colella was open, could not hold on to it. Take a look here. Hippa looks for the senior for his third reception. Couldn't find him, and we're still tied at 7. 8:29 to go here in the first half.
Tigers, Liam O'Brien, the starting quarterback for the fourth straight game with Aiden Sayin out 8 for 12. And as we send it down to Stephen on the sideline, Liam O'Brien bucking the family tradition a bit to come to Penn.
Yeah, it was an impressive first drive, and watching Liam O'Brien play quarterback, it's hard to believe that at one point in time it wasn't even his primary sport coming out of high school. He had a commitment to play lacrosse at Cornell and follow in the family lineage, but it took until the January of his senior year for Ray Priori to get him to play football here at Penn, and everything has gone his way. It's come full circle after a few weeks ago. He had a 7-touchdown game up in Cornell, so it was something that came very full circle for him, and he hasn't looked back.
Liam O'Brien, that game against Cornell where Penn dropped 67 points. That was the most points they've scored since a game in the 1940s against Lakehurst, which is a naval base, when they ran up into the 70s. But Liam O'Brien, 6 touchdowns through the air, had a touchdown on the ground in that 67-point performance. Here's Hosley with some space and a cutback run, and we see exactly what number 1's all about for the Quakers.
I was going to say, Cody, that's the Malachi Hosley we entered the game expecting to see, and if he gets going like that, it's going to be tough sledding for the Princeton defense. But good insight from Stephen on Liam O'Brien, and wonder if when they sit down for Thanksgiving in the household next week, he just looks around at the family and says, how about that Cornell game?
First down and 10. They'll keep it on the ground with the sophomore from Columbus, Georgia, who gets stopped at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, O'Brien, his father played football and lacrosse at Cornell. His mom went to Cornell. His sister went to Cornell. Has some aunts and uncles that went to Cornell. He was set to go to Cornell to play lacrosse, and the Quakers in a much better spot than they would have been had he gone to Cornell, because he's won 2 of his 3 starts.
Sure, Connor Buchek and the lacrosse staff at Cornell were not happy with the decommitment, but
they're doing fine.
All going well for both programs.
Penn trying to drive for their first lead. Here's Hosley running left. Turns the corner, stays in bounds, and has the first down. He has that second gear. You saw, okay, he's going to turn the corner. He's going to make it second and short. And he stays in bounds for an extra 5 or 6 yards.
And we talked about the time of possession without the running game going, but because Princeton's bottled them up, they haven't been that tired. If they need to chase him all day, the fatigue will set in.
O'Brien fires it over the middle with some coverage and some traffic, and it's incomplete. That's B.C. Owens. Got tangled up with Evan Haney, and Owens wants the flag.
You understand why the Quakers want the flag, I think, because both players saw the ball, were going for the ball, and basically their feet got tangled up. That's the reason for no flag.
That is an unbelievable throw by O'Brien.
It really is. He has got an arm.
There was a flag. It was pass interference. I still don't see the flag on the field.
It did not come from the official that was right there.
Bob Saray certainly didn't think so, but the Quakers will take the penalty, and they'll have it at the 12-yard line. I did not see the flag. O'Brien, designed run on that read option, and he's going to take it up the middle, pick up a couple down to the 7.
What you really like about O'Brien on those quarterback runs is how patient he is, and then he picks his spot, and you see the speed burst and the athleticism, but he lets the blocks really form in front of him. Just kind of patient, and then bam, sees the hole and hits it.
Princeton has had a good amount of experience this year preparing for dual threat quarterbacks. You think back to Jamison Wong with Cornell.
Jamison Wong has come a long way with the passing game. How about that?
Talk about Bushnell Cup candidates. If it wasn't for Hosley, you might be talking about Wong. Here's O'Brien, fires, looking for Richardson, his top receiver, and it's incomplete.
Dangerous throw there. Tigers everywhere. looks like Scarano got his hands on it. He's frustrated not to come away with the interception. So take a look here. The play fake. Yeah, Scarano tips it up in the air.
Scarano got a piece of it. The safety Owens was there to try to help out. And as the sun breaks back through, it'll be a 3rd down and 5 from the 7. O'Brien today 8 for 14, 90 yards and a touchdown. Tigers send 4. O'Brien being chased by Pigford. Throws it out of the back of the end zone. Threw it near BC Owens, but a little bit too tall.
Smart play.
I've been really impressed with O'Brien's decision-making for a guy who's only out there starting his 4th game.
Yeah, the IQ is certainly there. The athleticism's off the charts, and you've seen flashes of his arm as well. But good decision here. Now you leave it at 4th and 5. You are in field goal range, windy day or not, knocking on the door, so you take these 3 in a tie game.
24-yard field goal attempt for the junior Sam Smith to try to give the Quakers their first lead of the contest. And Smith nails it. He's now 9 for 9 on the season from under 40 yards, and the Quakers have scored 10 consecutive points, and they have the lead for the first time today as we step away from the Garden State. Their first Ivy League title since 1961.
That's one way to make a first impression if you're first-year head coach John Poppy, who came from D3 Union to Manhattan, where the Hudson and Harlem Rivers meet, and has a chance to bring an Ivy League title back to New York City for the first time in a long time. Cody, you and I were up there earlier this season, and to see, we've been calling Ivy League football for a long time, and to see where Columbia was and where they have grown to be is truly impressive.
John Volker ripped off a 75-yard touchdown run on the first play of the ball game, and he rumbles for 16 and a Princeton first down.
Really impressive run by the senior. Obviously a very impressive run to start this game, but he's feeling it today. A little bit of a hurdle, taking after his former teammate Andre Josivash, the track star from
Who's
Princeton.
here today.
Is he here today?
Somewhere.
He joined us in the booth last year for a lively conversation, and he's having a great season for the Bengals. Colella!
Hippa downfield, had a chance for Colella, double covered, well-thrown football with the wind at their back, but just can't connect. Wouldn't have been a touchdown because he had to lay out, but that's about as close as those two have come to hooking up on a deep ball downfield in a while.
And how about the clean pocket provided by the offensive line? That's the story of that play.
Colella had a couple of long touchdowns early in the season, a 36-yarder week 1 against Lehigh, a 37-yarder week 2, and a win here against Howard. 2nd down and 10 from the 41. Volker again up the middle, hard-nosed run, picks up 6. John Volker has been banged up. The last 3 seasons, he's missed 9 games. He missed 1 game this year, week 4 against Mercer, didn't play. Doesn't mean he's been healthy all season, but still averaging nearly 6 yards per carry.
And you kind of seeing Hosley turning it on for Penn, so Prince is going to have to counter that with a run game of their own, and Volker's been the hot hand today.
Empty backfield on 3rd down and 4, fired over the middle, complete. Colella first down. Well, Colella's been playing Hippa's favorite target today. That's his 3rd reception here in the first half.
Yeah, it was Mahoney with the first 2 receptions of the game, and since then, it's really been the Colella show, and rightfully so on senior day. Colella and Volker shining here in Princeton.
3 catches, 31 yards for the senior. A little bit of miscommunication pre-snap for the Tigers, but still 10 on the play clock. I think Princeton may have to use a timeout here.
This just doesn't.
A lot of confusion. The Tigers are going to snap it, and they're going to elect to not use the timeout and just keep it on the ground with John Volker.
And I wonder if they did the old kill, because there was so much miscommunication on the pass, just hand the ball off.
Yeah, no more collateral damage.
And in a tight game, there's only 3:30 to go. It wouldn't be the worst thing to use one of your 3 timeouts there if you thought you had something drawn up. But Colella will re-enter the game but there was definitely some miscommunication on the motion by Barber.
John Volker with that carry goes over 100 yards on the ground for the first time this season, and it happens on senior day. A lot of pre-snap motion, option right, pitch, Colella gets lit up. Kadari Machen has been all over the field for the Quakers.
The pursuit by Machen has been incredible, whether he's unblocked, but we've also seen him shedding blockers and coming down for tackles, but that's a big-time hit. That's a next-level Sunday hit there.
For Princeton, they tried to get creative, but did you have any doubt that that ball was eventually going to be flipped to Colella?
I did, but options can be really risky when you have kind of gunners coming down with a vengeance.
Screen pass left side. Volker cuts it center up the left hash, and another Princeton first down. John Volker, not sure if he's back to 100%, but we're seeing what a relatively healthy John Volker can bring to this offense.
And we talked about it in the open that for Princeton you could get a glimpse into the future with an Ivy League title out of reach, but this is a rivalry game, a lot on the line for the seniors, and you're seeing them play like it. So if there's any doubt, John Volker is the hot hand in the rushing game. Luke Colella, the hot hand in the receiving game. A.J. Barber is senior as well in the slot. So looking for them to try to take this home.
That takes us down to the 2-minute timeout. It was 7-0 Princeton one play into the contest, but back-to-back scores has the Quakers up 10-7 on the road. Sophomore campaign in the NFL.
Yeah, almost 300 yards receiving, but 4 touchdowns. He's been one of Joe Burrow's favorite targets in big spots, especially with T. Higgins missing a couple games this season. He's really stepped up, and maybe the most impressive catch wasn't a touchdown catch. It was last week against the Chargers. Came back middle of the field, all hands. What a tremendous receiver.
Hippo looking end zone. Barber one-on-one, and it's Shiloh Means knocking it out of harm's way.
While we're on the thread of NFL players, Tiki Barber is in the stands for Senior Day to watch his son, A.J. Barber, and I bet Tiki got on his feet thinking A.J. was going to bring one home on Senior Day, but impressive coverage down the field.
Hippo was just a little bit off his heels there.
Yeah, and it was a step or two underthrown.
2nd down and 10 from the 26. John Volker looking for some daylight. Fights his way up for a couple, and a timeout coming up, taken by the Quakers. Carter Jenke, the junior, with the tackle. First charge timeout for the Quakers. I think the Simpsons are going to be able to pronounce Andre's last name correctly.
Well, with AI these days, I think they'll at least train them on the names of the players on the field, but I'm looking forward to this one. We're going to take a break with the Penn timeout. 10-7 Penn with under 2 minutes to go here in the first half.
If they are able to claim a share of the title, they're first since 1961, but still about 12 minutes left to go in that contest. 3rd down and 7. Hippa going back to the well. Gear throws it up, and it's incomplete. Princeton wanted the flag. Alec Wills, the junior at 5'11", back there in coverage on the 6'5" senior Gear.
Take a look at the coverage. Gear again, 6'5", and the difference there is defensive back turns his head around and finds the ball, but there's a lot of contact there. So if the flag had been thrown, you'd understand it, but I think because the defensive back got his head around, that's the reason for no flag.
The injured Tiger is their starting left tackle. Cooper Coors, a junior out of Cathedral High School in Indianapolis. And Princeton on 4th down and 7 will bring on Sexton to try a long field goal to tie it up. Wind at his back. This will be a 40-yarder for the senior from Louisville, Kentucky. He's made 6 consecutive field goals, 5 of those 6 from 40-plus.
Wind at his back.
40-yarder, not quite dead center, puts the right foot into it. The kick on its way, and the kick is good. Jeffrey Sexton, 6 for 6 on the season. The Tigers remain perfect on field goals. And it's a 10-10 game with 1:38 to go in the first half.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a great ball game here on a chilly, windy day in Princeton, New Jersey. Central New Jersey, if you believe in those sorts of things.
We weren't sure what to expect, right? Two teams mathematically not in the hunt for the Ivy League title. This has been a pretty good football game.
It has been, and no surprise that it's been the seniors, especially on the Princeton side, leading the way. They are certainly playing for something. And I know it's a bit cliche to say playing for pride, but in this league, I think that works because the rivalries are so deep. And in today's world, at the Division I level of transfer portals and playing for 4 schools in 4 years, you see longevity and long careers with these schools, and that means something on a senior day.
Well, and this is a senior class, right? Princeton 2-7, 1-5 in the Ivy League. This is a senior class that in their career, they're 24-15 with an Ivy League title. It's not a class that's used to losing.
No, they're not at all, Cody. And then you talk about the pageantry, a good crowd here, especially on the Princeton sideline. Guys like an Andre Yosevach back to kind of pay homage to his former teammates on their special day. And, he's obviously been a headline in the NFL and representing the school at a high level. So you see those guys in the stands, and that adds a little bit of juice, too.
Penn football at the 25, 1:38 and 2 timeouts for the Quakers. It was 7-0 Princeton, and then Penn put up 10 consecutive points before that Sexton field goal. O'Brien with good time looking. Richardson makes the catch and gets a foot in bounds for the Penn first down.
Big time catch. Great concentration by Richardson. And really just a great progression. Made sure he had the ball first and foremost, because if you don't have the ball, the feet don't matter. Touched the toes, got out of bounds. Great throw and catch.
Richardson last year against Princeton, 6 catches, 138 yards, and 3 touchdowns in that Week 10 loss. And O'Brien throws it away. Richardson, he's got 200-yard games this year. They were in Liam O'Brien's first 2 starts, 113 yards and a score against Brown, and then in that 67-point outburst, 141 yards, 3 touchdowns 2 weeks ago against Cornell.
And not too often you see that rapport click that quickly to have a 100-yard receiver in 2 straight games with a new starter at quarterback. So that says something.
Second down and 10, just shy of midfield. O'Brien's going to tuck it and run, shakes a tackle, and can't get away from Scarano, but a gain of about 8.
Great play by O'Brien. Good elusiveness. Doesn't quite get the first down, but now 3rd and 2.
We've got to talk about Marco Scarano. He's a junior. He came into today leading the Ivy League in tackles for a loss. With some of the injuries, he has to play inside. He's 200 pounds playing inside linebacker. Burst of speed up the middle and a first down. That's the change of pace back. Sophomore Jamal Bing.
Yeah, and by change of pace, we mean still really, really fast.
Fast as a pace.
Yes, it is.
Low snap, 3-man rush. O'Brien with great protection. Snaking his way far sideline, and Scarano escorts him out of bounds. But again, another positive play by the junior quarterback.
Really good decision making. Even a couple plays ago, just throwing the ball away the second he realized it wasn't there. So he's got like a touch of Baker Mayfield to him. Baker Mayfield has become really decisive, uses his feet when he has to, deceivingly athletic. I don't think O'Brien's deceivingly athletic. I think he's just athletic, but I see some comparisons there.
Princeton, we talked about it early in the game to set the pace, stacking the box. Today they're doing a lot of what they did last week at Yale, where they dropped 7 or 8. Second down and 1, O'Brien looking right, quick hit, incomplete, looking for the running back, Bing. Evan Haney out there in coverage.
Bing just 5'9" out there, so smaller target for O'Brien to hit out of the backfield. being 5'9", 190. Hosley 5'10", 205. And we talked to Ray Priori. Hosley last year, 15, 20 pounds lighter, came back onto campus just so much stronger.
Penn just 2 for 6 on third down today. Quakers snap it with 32 seconds to go. Give Hosley running right, first down and then some. Makes a man miss. Wrapped up by Owens inside the 10. What a run by the sophomore. And Hosley just a little bit slow to get up, and a little one-arm hug for Owens, but he's banged up.
And Penn is going to use a timeout. Rightfully so, with Hosley a little bit banged up on that play and not able to quickly get back to the line of scrimmage. 23 seconds to go, knocking on the doorstep down to the 6-yard line after that impressive run. And you see when he plants that right foot, that change of direction is scary fast. But he's over on the sideline getting looked at. Obviously, hope to see him return to this one. He is just so electric. Tremendous season, over 1,000 yards on the ground. He's had a big part in Penn chipping away, tying this game, and now looking to take a lead. You look at the clock management, 23 seconds to go. Penn has an opportunity to punch one in and march into the locker room.
For the Quakers, that was their longest play of the day, 24 yards, and we were talking so much about how Hosley was slow to get started. 8 carries, 74 yards, 9 yards per carry.
Yeah, it was something like 2.5 yards after the first quarter.
Empty backfield with a couple of tight ends in the ball game. Quick look right side, one-on-one, throwing it up for Owens, and it's incomplete against Evan Haney, who's had a big first half.
Good throw where really it was going to be Owens or nobody, but equally good coverage by the Tigers, one-on-one, getting a hand up in the passing lane. Still no Hosley, so empty backfield here. And not having Hosley here, Bing not in the game, definitely changes the game plan here for the Quakers offense.
Timeout for an injured Tiger. That's the senior nose guard, Jack Del Garbino. Del Garbino, a really interesting story. Walked onto the team 2 springs ago, spring of 2022. He was a wrestler. He was a really good heavyweight wrestler. He had a win against the number 3 wrestler in the country, Tony Cassiope of Iowa. That was back in 2021. Walks on spring of 2022, Bob Serace. At that point, they had 125 or so guys on the roster. As far as being game ready, he may have been guy number 125. Wins a job in camp last year, becomes honorable mention All-Ivy. He's the Tigers' 6th leading tackler this year as a senior nose guard. From the 6-yard line, O'Brien throws it up for Owens. Great body control and a Penn touchdown. Still learning how to be a wide receiver, but you can see the athleticism and the body control.
I think BC Owens, the only thing he knows is kind of playing above the rim, right? And the vertical just literally jumps off the field as you see there. Creative celebration there as they look to tack on another one.
Did he drink out of the football? Extra point is good, and the Quakers go back up by a touchdown, 17-10 with 16 seconds to go. BC Owens, that's his 5th touchdown catch of the season, his 4th in the last 3 weeks.
Great play design. O'Brien looks right, pump fake, and the big receivers on the left are flooding to the right side of the field. O'Brien looks back, and there's one of his favorite targets, Owens, relatively wide open. See here, improving how fast he can drink out of the football.
I think he might have been taking a picture.
Maybe.
I don't know. So that's BC Owens, who just put on the number 39 jersey. If you're wondering, why are we showing number 39? Number 7 just scored. Not sure if the jersey was ripped or got some blood on it or what. Owens with his 5th touchdown catch of the season. Ray Prior talked about the recruiting for them. Richardson and Owens, two players that really didn't have a lot of Division I football interest, and they didn't commit until late in the fall, early winter of their senior years in high school.
Yeah, there's often really interesting recruiting stories in the Ivy League. Ray Priori was nice enough to share some really great conversation with the head coach. And these players are often on the brink of maybe playing a different sport at a very high Division III level or at a premier academic institution at multiple levels, and they see something that can translate to the gridiron.
Blaine Hippa takes a knee. The Quakers won't use their final timeout. As we go into halftime, 17-10, Quakers on top of the Tigers thanks to the late O'Brien to Owens touchdown.
A tremendous first half here and a back and forth battle in the final week of Ivy League play. Princeton scored on the first play of the game, but Penn has chipped back. Malachi Hosley's gotten it going, 17-10 as we head to the of the Ivy League title, but Harvard, Andrew Orrick have a chance to win it outright.
Penn to receive the kickoff. Julian Stokes, one of the most dangerous return men in the nation, up across the 20. Slips a tackle, and it'll be Penn football with good field position right across the 30-yard line.
And so Penn, they kind of get to continue that momentum that they built at the end of that second quarter. Liam O'Brien has been very impressive, not only with the stats he's put up, the 2 throwing touchdowns, but what he's done with his legs and really his decision making and not turning the ball over. And we talked to Ray Priori, coming off last year's bout between these two teams where Penn turned the ball over 7 times. I asked him for a couple of keys to the game. He gave me a couple, but the one that mattered he talked about was turnovers, not turning the ball over.
Penn's done a great job avoiding mistakes, just 8 turnovers in 9 games coming into this one. First play of the second half is a Malachi Hosley run, and he picks up a ho-hum 7 yards on first down, and it's good to see Hosley back out there after he left late in the first half with an injury.
Yeah, he definitely looked hurt, so good to see him out there, and he really got it going in the second quarter, and wow, just drags defenders. It just shows the strength he entered into his sophomore season with.
Hosley picks up 9 and a first down for the Quakers. He'll stay in the contest. Hosley now 10 carries, 89 yards, just shy of 9 yards per carry. He had the longest Penn play of the first half on a 24-yard scamper late in the second quarter. Snap over the head of O'Brien. He kicks it, and then wisely just dives on the football ahead of Colin Taylor.
Yeah, I thought he could keep the play alive and maybe pick it up off the short hop and do something with it, but after the first attempt doesn't work, no point in trying again. He does a good job of just covering it up with Tigers on the hunt.
Some miscommunication. O'Brien wasn't even looking at the center, Will Bergen, when the snap came in.
Big opportunity for the Princeton defense there on the unforced error by Penn.
From 1st and 10 to 2nd and 23. On the ground, Hosley. That's a way to get some yards back. 12 yards, and he'll set up 2nd down and manageable.
If I learned anything,
rather 3rd and manageable.
If I learned anything off that run, which I probably knew before, don't try to take down Hosley with one arm. He's just too strong. Low center of gravity, keeps the feet churning.
O'Brien with great protection, and now the Tigers have a chance at him. Fires. In coverage, ball batted up in the air, and it's incomplete. Looking for Jared Drayton, who had a first down catch in the first half. That was Scarano, the inside linebacker, out there in coverage.
Scarano's been all over the place today, and Princeton did its job on the first defensive possession of the second half, with Penn having the opportunity to build on a 7-point lead by receiving the second half kickoff. Princeton with a quick stop and the opportunity to maybe flip the field if A.J. Barber can get a good return.
4th down and 11. Albert Jang, the Ivy League's punting leader, takes the low snap, boots this one with the wind at his back.
Great punt.
Barber lets it bounce inside the 5, and the Quakers down there to cover it up at the 2. 52-yard punt, no return, and the Tigers down by a touchdown, backed up inside their own 5 as we send it down to the sideline.
He was really happy with his team's poise. Head coach Ray Priori said it was the kind of crazy start that's happened all too often for them, but he's proud of their bounce back ability, and he kept using the word attack. Attack on offense, attack on defense. That's what they're prepared to do, Penn, in the second half.
Tigers down by a touchdown, first down carry to try to give them a little bit of breathing room. And that's Ethan Clark, the sophomore, with a nice chunk, 4 yards on the first down scamper. Clark had 2 first-half touchdowns in the Princeton loss at the Yale Bowl last week. Screen pass left side, Colella with a head of steam. He gets cut down right around the line of scrimmage. Princeton, throughout the season, they've been getting really creative to get the ball in A.J. Barber's hands. Today, it seems like a conscious effort to get Colella involved.
Got to get Colella going. He's the number 1 receiver for a reason. Tremendous career here at Princeton, and he wants to make his presence felt on senior day, and he's done so. He'd love to get a touchdown here if you're Luke Colella.
Third down and 5 at the 9. Ethan Clark motions out, so an empty backfield. 5-man rush, Hippa over the middle, a little bit high. Colella hauls it in, gets stood up, but it's a Princeton first down. Shiloh Means has been really impressive at safety.
He's been incredibly impressive, but Colella's been equally impressive with his route running, and clearly the timing, it's clicking. It took a while, but it is clicking today between Hippa and Colella in the final game of the season. They're going to keep Ethan Clark in the backfield. Obviously, John Volker has been a spark.
Holstein, the man in motion, give to Clark. Hall closes up quickly, and he picks up a yard on the first down carry as we go 4 minutes deep into the third quarter. Columbia has won, so if you're the Lions, a great season. You finish Ivy League play at 5-2, and now you just need to see if Yale can hang on against Harvard. And all of a sudden, that's a 1-score game midway through the fourth quarter. Dartmouth up big against Brown, so Dartmouth also still in the mix for a share of a title. 2nd and 9 from the 25. Hippa surveys, gets hit, and gets dropped. Had some pretty good protection to start, and then all of a sudden found himself on the turf. That's Connor Martin, the freshman defensive end, who essentially was 5th on the depth chart at that position coming into the season, but the 6'4 freshman from Tawako, New Jersey, continues to move up. He batted a pass down in the first half, and he picks up the stop there.
Yeah, another Ivy League athlete from Del Barton, which you often see.
3rd down and 17, 4-man rush. Hippa steps up, flag comes in. He's going to haul it downfield. Barber with a step makes the catch. We'll have to wait and see what the flag is, but that's a great play by A.J. Barber downfield.
Holding. Third down.
Call was a hold against the Tigers. And that negates what would have been about a 45-yard hookup between Blaine Hippa and A.J. Barber. Yep, flag came in. Hippa had the pocket collapsing, was able to get outside. It was because of the hold against the Tigers.
I think it was on the right tackle, Will Reed. Obviously, the official's microphone cut out.
So that's half the distance, and it'll make it 3rd down and 25. Princeton, safe pass, right side. Volker out of the backfield, an extension of the running game. And he gets run out of bounds. If you're Princeton, you would figure, right, you're doing that. You're trying to see if he can break it. Kind of dangerous to have the ball cover that much ground.
I think so, and they've had, like, you just had the success to AJ Barber. You missed him a little bit earlier. The connection with Colella is working downfield, and the wind is in the punter's face right now.
Clark gets it away against the wind. Short punt. It'll take a Princeton bounce inside the 45. And it'll be downed at the 42-yard line, so that'll be a 39-yard punt. No return. Taking a look at least the angle that we saw, which is the same one that they were looking at up on the video board.
This is the one you see here. Bing is not down, and that ball
That's out.
changed possession. And what a huge
Colin
turn of
Taylor with the
events.
strip and Colin Taylor with the recovery. He just kind of ripped it out. Taylor had a big game earlier this season, had 1.5 sacks in the Week 2 victory against Howard.
Field is
Ruling on the field confirmed, Princeton football.
huge turn of events. Princeton gets good field position after Penn had good field position after the punt. So Blaine Hippa and company quickly back out on the field looking to strike back.
Princeton will start off at the Quaker 37. This is the first time today they've started a drive in Quakers territory.
offense, number 53. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's the third or fourth penalty today that's got to be really frustrating for the Princeton coaching staff.
Coaches never love those unforced penalties, especially in the last game of the season, as opposed to the first when maybe you're still getting your cadence going off of a short training camp.
A little bit of trouble with the snap. They're able to hand the ball off to John Volker, who picks up 2 yards up to the 40.
And again, Princeton going from right to left on your monitors would be kicking into the wind in this third quarter. So Jeffrey Sexton would not have the wind at his back as he did previously for his long field goal.
Princeton down by a touchdown, but driving. Second down and 13. Delay left side. John Volker picks up a couple. This has been a situation the Tigers have found themselves in a little bit too often this season where penalties haven't been the issue, but third down and long, we talk about staying on or ahead of schedule. Bubble screen left side. John Volker, the sideline wide open, and it's a Princeton first down. The quick snap.
Great play design, just taking advantage of green grass that was left open by the defense. And Hippa decisive, one step and out. And Volker gets going north and south in a hurry.
So the Tigers driving, looking to tie it up here midway through the third quarter. First down and 10 from the Quaker 17. Motion by A.J. Barber. Penn sniffs it out, tosses it up. Colella one-on-one, trying to come back with a ton of contact. It's incomplete. Bob Serace livid on the sideline.
That, you understand where Princeton's coming from there. Defensive back never found the ball. Contact on Colella the entire time. At the last minute, he gets his head around, but that right arm was all over Colella for maybe 7 yards.
Second down and 10 from the 17. Volker, the lone back, trips right. Running right, they tried to run mesh and just never got going as Hippa gets hit hard.
Hippa tried to make something out of nothing, couldn't get the edge, was tripped up a bit, got his footing back about 50%, but couldn't turn the edge. So the initial trip up, good job of staying on his feet, but good pursuit by the Penn Quaker defense.
Third down and 9 from the 16. Volker in the backfield. And now Holstein motions wide. Penn sent 7. Thrown up in the end zone looking for Barber, and it's incomplete.
I don't think Barber found that one in the air. You love to see the confidence in play calling in HIPAA throwing the ball deep because it just wasn't happening a couple games this year. That one just gets lost. Barber turns a couple of times and just can't find it. The sun is going in and out. I don't think it was a factor there.
Jeffrey Sexton hit from 40 in the second quarter. This will be from 33 yards out. Right hash, wind blowing left to right, how he's looking at it. Against the driving wind, and the kick is good. Vosh, on his senior day, a chance to check out one of his high school teammates, Blake Figgins-Spam, the Tigers' fifth-year senior, sixth-year senior starting center. Andre led the Ivy League in receiving, was a sixth-round pick by the Bengals, was a multi-time Ivy track and field champion. Having a heck of a sophomore campaign. Stokes elects to return this from the 3 with a seam across the 20. Run out of bounds around the 30.
Yeah, Andre's had a great sophomore campaign, and the Bengals have had, a tremendous receiving core over the last few years, but Tyler Boyd leaves the team, so they knew that Andre had a role. T. Higgins, there was indecision around his contract. He was holding out. Andre gets some playing time in kind of that number 2 role. And he's really thrived, and T. Higgins most likely going to be a free agent at the end of the season, so he may be number 2 receiver on the Bengals next year.
If you're putting together a list of fun-to-watch Ivy League players over the last decade, Andre Josevich would certainly be on that list. And O'Brien, flushed from the pocket, gets hit, fires back across. It's complete with a flag down in the backfields. Bryce Myers, the senior tight end out of Bridgewater Raritan, makes the catch.
Holding, offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty, first down.
I've seen this a couple times. When you have athletes in the backfield that have change of direction and escapability and extend plays, that's when you get holding a lot of times. So O'Brien extends the play so long that his offensive linemen sometimes aren't sure where he is, and it turns into a hold. And it's right in front of the official, and a good call.
First down and 20, backed up at the 20. Quakers with a 4-point third quarter lead. Looking to take a shot downfield for Stokes, just out of his reach. Well covered downfield, Jalen Newman, the senior cornerback. Taj Owens, the junior safety.
And O'Brien, really impressed with how he's spinning it. I mean, he's making quick decisions, and that's a good ball.
O'Brien's been out there. This is his 4th straight game as Penn's starter. Didn't open the season as the starter. That was Aiden Sayin. 4-year starter, 2-time All-Ivy selection. Ivy second in the Ivy in passing each of the last 2 years. He gets hit. Ball pops loose. That was Pigford. Here come the Tigers. It's Princeton taking it back the other way for a touchdown. Caden Wright with the scoop and score for Princeton, and they've got their first lead here in the second half. It started with the pressure from the freshman, A.J. Pickford.
They've had call as a fumble. They've been getting in the backfield all day. O'Brien's shown good escapability, but not that time. Off the edge. The fumble, and a great job of taking his time, scooping up that ball to make sure he doesn't overrun it.
If you're a Tigers fan and you want to know what's on the horizon, A.J. Pickford right in there forcing the fumble. He's a freshman. Caden Wright, the sophomore, taking it back the other way. They are going to take another look at this. As it stands now, 6-yard scoop and score for the sophomore Caden Wright.
We'll take another look. O'Brien drops back. And I don't see how you could say his arm was going forward. Yeah, no, that's going to stand. And a tremendous job by this Princeton defense.
Last year in that Week 10 victory at Franklin Field, a one-score win, Princeton with 7 takeaways. This time, Caden Wright, the sophomore out of Reagan High School in San Antonio, Texas, finds the end zone. Still haven't put the points on the scoreboard officially. If this stands, it'll make it 19-17 Princeton. Huge call.
Ruling on the field of a fumble stands touchdown.
Tigers are on top for the first time here in the second half.
Toughness from the Princeton Tigers today. You see juice on the back of their helmets, and we talked about where you're going to find the juice in a game that doesn't have Ivy League title implications. They've dug deep, they've found it, and they're playing with tenacity.
Well, when we talk about all the injuries for the Tigers, Caden Wright is in there largely because London Robinson, their backup nose guard, went down with a season-ending injury pretty early in the campaign. So the Tigers take advantage. They force the fumble. Caden Wright with a 6-yard scoop and score. And it's a 20-17 Princeton lead here in the third quarter. The fumble, the freshman, and then the sophomore Caden Wright running it in for the Princeton touchdown. And the Tigers, Dave, are back on top 20-17 in what's been a pretty entertaining football game.
Yeah, and their defense has done a good job today, and now they're going to have to continue really pressuring Liam O'Brien, making him move. He's made some plays on the move. There's no doubt about it. We've seen some tremendous athleticism from O'Brien, but we've also seen holds when he gets moving. We've now seen the turnover when they keep him in the pocket and get the pressure from the edge. So Steve Verbitt's probably still going to dial up those blitzes, try to keep Malachi Hosley in check, and force, the tremendous receiving core, but Richardson and Owens on the outside to beat the Princeton Tigers.
Liam O'Brien was 8 for his first 12 through the first quarter. Since then, he's just 2 for 10. Tigers squib it. It finds its way to Stokes. And he gets tackled just short of the 25-yard line, so mission accomplished against a pretty dangerous man, number 13. Also scored a touchdown, caught a touchdown in the first half. At the time, that Stokes touchdown catch made it a 7-7 game. It was the final play of the first quarter. It was a 17-10 Penn lead heading into halftime. They scored their 2 touchdowns late in the first and late in the second quarter, and now we'll see how they respond on offense.
You've got to lean on Hosley here to keep you ahead of schedule, as you said, Cody, in front of that down and distance and the ability to open up the playbook.
Hosley, 100 yards on the ground for the 4th consecutive game, a spin move and an easy 5-yard carry.
And that's
Hosley, 12 carries, 106 yards. Has the longest play from scrimmage today for the Quakers, a 24-yard run back in the first half, and he'll head to the sideline.
And that's exactly what you want on first down, to stay ahead of the chains. 2nd and 6 is a good place to be as an offensive play caller.
Trips left, O'Brien out of the shotgun. Looks left, he's going to run it right. Tigers sniff it out, and he's going to get dragged down. Jack Del Garbino, Jalen Jones in there as well. He had the initial pursuit. Good thing if you're Penn about having a guy like O'Brien. Very rarely is there a negative play on a broken play like that.
Exactly right. I mean, it looks like a broken play, but it's a gain of 3 on 2nd down, bringing up a 3rd and 3, which is 3rd and very manageable with the offensive weapons they have. Hosley re-enters the game to the left of O'Brien in the backfield.
Penn 3 for 8 on 3rd down today. It's a 3rd down and 3. Bubble screen. Owens hit and dropped. Then immediately by the Tigers, that looks like Will Beasley, the inside linebacker. Chase Christopher in there as well.
And down by 3 here with Princeton with momentum. You don't want to give them this field position by failing on a 4th down conversion. So Penn will kick it away with the wind at Penn's back. So A.J. Barble will be at the Tiger, call it 27, 25-yard line.
Jang, the Ivy League's leading punter. Low snap, just gets it off ahead of the rush, and it's a booming, hanging kick. Fair catch called for and made at the 28-yard line. 42-yard punt, no return, and the Tigers will go back on offense trying to extend the lead.
And the Tigers played from ahead after the first play touchdown by John Volker. And I think if you're, the offense, you're getting those running backs together and saying, if we can run the ball for the remainder of this game, we can win this game. You want to maintain at least 50-50 time of possession, keep the chains moving, keep your defense fresh and off the field so that Steve Burbett can have his defense dialing up those blitzes at full speed.
1st and 10 from the 29. They will keep it on the ground with the senior John Volker. Just keeps moving the pile up across the 35 to the 37. So that was Ethan Clark.
Great run by Clark. It looked like Volker, by the way, he was carrying the pile. That's a very Volker-esque run, whether Charlie or John. They both did that very well.
2nd down and 2. Hippo rolling left, one-handed catch. Ethan Clark, 1st down, Princeton. How about that?
How about that is right, Cody. One hand and never put the second hand on it. He thought he would need the second hand to corral it in. Not the case. Turns upfield and keeps running. What a play. Andrei Josevich is on his feet.
I don't know that I've ever seen a catch better than that. 1st down for the Tigers. They'll give it to Clark, a little bit more traditional transaction of the football here, and a 4-yard gain by the sophomore.
I mean, the gloves are sticky, but that was crazy. And running full speed.
Clark had 2 touchdowns last week. He's got a 100-yard game. That was week 4 against Mercer, who, to this point in the season, has the nation's #1 rush defense. Clark came into last week with 2 career catches. He's got 6 the last 2 games. Hip a little bit of indecision, is able to pick up a couple up to the 46.
Looked like some miscommunication before the snap. A.J. Barber not reading the signal to go in motion. And Hippa did a nice job of improvising there. So 3rd and 4, close to midfield. You could call it 4-down territory if you got a yard or 2 here, because you do want to keep the offense on the field. As they say, offense is your best defense.
Princeton just 4 for 11 on 3rd down. With Holstein in motion, Hippa surveys. He's going to be chased. They're going to get Will Reed for the hold. And they throw it away. It's incomplete. It's going to be Will Berge, the left guard. Would figure Penn would decline the hold and make the Tigers likely punt it away with the 4-point lead, or 3-point lead.
That play call maybe tells me it was not 4-down territory, because I would be a fan of keeping it on the ground twice with John Volker and
Holding,
Clark.
70, offense. 10, 3rd down.
Will Berge, the sophomore offensive lineman, the guilty party.
And Princeton, to your point, Cody, kind of gets another chance at life here with the penalty being accepted and stepping back 10 yards. I mean, 3rd and 14, not easy, but you do have 2 6'5" receivers and a speedy Luke Colella and A.J. Barber on the field, so they're going to go 5 wide and sling it.
Backfield is empty. Officials held the Tigers up just a second. Guess if you're Penn, you're figuring if you stop them here, you'll have better field position kicking into the wind. Hippa leaving the pocket again, downfield. Colella makes the catch. 1st down, Princeton inside the 40. Those two have been on the same page here in the second half.
They are clicking, Cody, and Penn just rushes 3, and Hippa had time. And for a second there, I thought Hippa was going to tuck it and run, but he did not cross the line of scrimmage and was able to find Colella, who does a nice job of reading the quarterback's eyes, moving with the quarterback towards the sideline and giving him an outlet. A great first down after that holding penalty was accepted on third.
Fresh set of downs from the 37. Hippa, one-on-one coverage for Barber. Under, throws it against the wind, and it's intercepted. Penn back the other way. What a day for that man, the senior Shiloh Means. Second interception of the season for the Indianapolis native, and Penn slams the door on the Tigers' drive.
And that pass is just entirely too high with the wind in the quarterback's face, and A.J. Barber kind of readjusts. A.J. Barber needs to turn into a defender there and turn that into a jump ball. The ball hung up there, and it was just misread. So just like that, after a huge first down to keep the offense on the field, O'Brien and company.
Right back to Hosley. He tried to spin out of the tackle, but he is knocked down after a gain of just a yard.
And it goes without saying, but a gigantic possession here for both teams. Penn in desperate need of points as the clock ticks down to 0 in the third quarter, and Princeton love to get a stop.
After Princeton takes the lead on a caused turnover, they turn it over and give it back to the Quakers. 3 quarters in the books. 20-17, the Tigers lead here on Senior Day. The first 3 quarters. Start of the fourth quarter, it's 20-17, Tigers on top. Second down and 9 for the Quakers. Some motion, rolling right. O'Brien looking across his body, complete. Richardson with some space and a first down. Jared Richardson's been quiet, but he is one of the best wide receivers in the Ivy League. We saw it there. Came in 5th in the Ivy League in receiving yards, 5th in touchdowns. Flag on the play.
That's a huge call. You love these play designs, though. They get O'Brien.
Ineligible man downfield was the call.
O'Brien rolling out to his right, and he just has multiple levels of receivers going the same way. Gives him a ton of options, and it's very hard to defend, but illegal man downfield. Huge call to go backwards after a tremendous throw and catch there.
That would have been a 16-yard hookup and a Penn first down. Instead, it's another penalty. Second down and 14, backed up at the 17. Hosley, the running back, one-step drop. Now O'Brien looks right for Hosley. Complete to the sophomore running back.
How about the spin move to get an extra 3 there by Hosley, who's not known as a receiver out of the backfield. Obviously one of the best running backs in the league in the purest definition of the sense.
Hosley last year, 119 yards rushing against the Tigers. This year, 106 yards rushing. 4th straight game to cap his sophomore campaign, going over the century mark. From the 26-yard line, 3rd down and 5 for the Quakers. Empty backer, Hosley's out there. Man in motion is Owens, got his jersey back. O'Brien with all day, connects with Richardson, and he has the first down. Still in bounds, spinning back center and fighting for some yards after the catch.
And how about this, getting the sideline pumped up? And you love to see that because you need that spark, that energy from the sideline in the fourth quarter, in the last game of the season. Richardson, the last one gets negated by the penalty, and this one was flashy.
We caught up with Andre Yosevich earlier today. One of the next wideouts in the NFL from the Ivy League could be that man. I know he's just a sophomore, or rather just a junior.
He's got all the tangibles.
On the ground with Hosley, a patient run. Tripped up by Taj Owens, but a gain of 6 or 7. Jared Richardson last year, first team All-Ivy, 788 receiving yards. This year comes in at 631.
Richardson could have single coverage on the outside, as could Owens.
Instead, it's Hosley. Spin move and a first down.
Gets just enough. Dances past the line to gain to keep the drive going for the Penn Quakers, and Liam O'Brien, he just looks like a veteran out there. You would not think he came in mid-season starting a few games for the Penn Quakers. He looks like he has complete command not only of the playbook, but of the offensive personnel.
O'Brien, the junior, Boulder, Colorado, Fairview High School, and then a grad year at Deerfield Academy. First down and 10, O'Brien with the read. Snakes his way up the middle, gets it across midfield, and then some late flags come in for what'll likely be a face mask. Marco Scarano made the stop.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 7, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
They're going to get Chase Christopher for the face mask.
Chase Christopher shaking his head, but we'll get a look at it here. And
yeah.
It is a face mask.
Not exactly a clean played game, 7 penalties for each side. Pretty uncharacteristic for these two teams. First down and 10 at the Princeton 32. Quakers down by a field goal. Owens in motion, rolling right. O'Brien launching it, looking for the end zone for Casilli, who goes up, and it's intercepted by the Tigers. Evan Haney with the pick in the end zone. How did he come out of that scrum with the football?
What a job by Haney. It was a tremendous throw by O'Brien. He's doing everything right with the ball by keeping it low and under the swirling wind here at Powers Field. But how about Haney tracking that ball and what ended up being a 50-50 jump ball in the end zone? He comes down with it and rings the turnover bell. For the second time today for the Princeton Tigers, they turn over the Penn Quakers in a huge spot, and what a look at it here.
Looked like a well-thrown ball, and Josh Casilli looking for his second catch of the season, his second touchdown catch of the season. Haney just took it away from him.
This little celebration, starting a little bit of a bonfire with the ball to keep the hands warm.
First carry of the drive, John Volker, the senior captain. Tigers with a 3-point lead. It was tied at 7. It was tied at 10. Teams exchanging turnovers here in the second half. Hippa back across, looking for Volker, and that one thrown deep into the Princeton sideline.
You know, Cody, we came into this talking about nothing on the line in terms of league supremacy, but where we are in the game right now, this feels like there's a lot on the line. You can tell there's a rivalry. You can tell both teams want to come away with a W.
Right, mathematically, neither team came into today playing for a title. You only play 10 games a season in the Ivy League. Screen, Colella, ball pops loose. Penn with a beat on it. Who else? Shiloh Means back the other way. Down the sideline, one man to beat. He's upended by Matheson inside the 10, and another turnover.
After a very clean first half in terms of turnovers, it's going back and forth in a rivalry game in the final week of the season between Princeton and Penn. We got a lot to determine here. Under 11 minutes to go. Princeton 20, Penn 17, knocking on the door. Call here. Take a look. Colella, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ball
Maybe they're
moving.
saying he never tucked it. It was moving the whole time. But wow.
Ray Priori can't believe it. Tigers catch a break. It'll be 4th down and 8, and now they'll have a chance to punt it away and save some field position. Clark gets it away. Wind at his back. It's a low kick. Bounces at the 38. It'll kick inside the 30. Still on the move inside the 25 at the 24. 54-yard punt. No return off the right foot of Brady Clark. And now the Quakers who thought they were going to have the football inside the 10, will be backed up deep in their own end.
And again, these turnovers, these calls, they just intensify the rivalry in the fourth quarter. And you can just feel both sidelines just kind of on pins and needles here.
Wouldn't have been the first controversial call in this venue in this series in the last couple of seasons.
Last time we were here.
Some questions about the play clock and whether it hit 0. First and 10, Quakers down by just 3. 10:36 to go in the fourth quarter. Hosley the lone back. Quick hit over the middle. The tight end, Justin Cayenne, gets stood up and thrown down. Ball pops loose. Beasley, the first to the receiver. Penn pointing like they have it. And it looks like they did jump on the loose football.
They're
going to say forward progress.
Forward progress was stopped. I thought they were going to say he was down, which he was not, but forward progress had been stopped. Forward progress had been impeded. We'll take another look here. Tight end catches it. All right, forward progress is done, and the ball comes out.
It's a wrestling move.
Wrestling's come up a couple times today. Hosley.
Little bit of a seam. Will Beasley, who was the man who dropped the big 6'4", 245-pound tight end Justin Cayenne in there on the stop on Hosley. Really impressive, right? You look at the frame for Cayenne, what Beasley was able to do. He's a guy that was expected to play a big role at inside linebacker and has struggled to stay on the field. It's been a theme for Steve Verbitt's defense. Rolling right, O'Brien directing traffic. He's going to take off and run and tiptoe out of bounds just shy of the first down marker with Jalen Newman bearing down.
Great play by O'Brien and good discipline by the Princeton defense in not taking a lick at the quarterback there. That would almost indefinitely be, or definitely be a flag, I should say, on the sideline.
Talked about some things for Princeton fans to look forward to. If you look at Penn, O'Brien Jr., Hosley, sophomore, Richardson and Owens, juniors. Fired over the middle for the tumbling Owens, and it's incomplete.
Owens would love to have that back. O'Brien put it on a rope to BC Owens, who couldn't come up with it, and you see him tapping his chest saying, "That's on me."
BC Owens, 6'4", 215-pound junior. Had his best game of the season last year against Princeton. 11 catches, 123 yards in that one-score Penn loss at Franklin Fields. Since O'Brien's taken over as the starter, averaging Owens is nearly 100 yards a game receiving. It's been one of O'Brien's favorite targets. Here's a designed run. O'Brien struggled to get going, picked up just a yard on 3rd down and 2.
He won't get there. It's going to be 4th and 1 for the Penn Quakers, and a big decision, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a tough one because in comes Malachi Hosley, the premier running back in the Ivy League. He'll start in the slot. Be shocked if he doesn't motion back into the backfield here. Quarterback or running back? Who's running it?
It's Hosley, the sophomore, needed a yard. Looks like he's going to be short.
It's
Princeton football. The Tigers defense comes up with a stop, and it stays a 3-point game midway through the fourth quarter.
What a stop by the Princeton defense, stopping the talented Malachi Hosley on 4th down. Tiger
put the lid on the 2024 Ivy League football season, and this has been an entertaining back-and-forth contest.
Yeah, this second half has certainly been back and forth. The turnovers, the calls, the defensive stops. Who can finish this one?
Princeton driving. Neither team has led by more than one score, but a touchdown here would put the Tigers up by 2 scores. Campo with the wind at his back. Checks down. Here's Volker. Stood up at the 41-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Huge 3rd down play here, but again, thinking this is 4 down territory. If you can get 3 here, So do you keep it on the ground with John Volker on third down, knowing he'll stay on the field? Or do you go to one of the talented wideouts on a short route here to try to get to the line to gain and not have to go for it on fourth?
Fairman tried to rip that out, but John Volker with the ball security. Third down and 5 at the 41. They'll motion Volker out wide. Hippa's going to go to the air on 3rd and 5. Running left, being chased. Tosses it downfield, and it's intercepted. That time it was Shiloh Means, and this one's going to count as Princeton. A lot to dissect there, Dave. They elect to go to the air and then just tossed up for grabs as Blaine Hippa's intercepted for the 15th time this season.
Last thing you want to do is throw this one inbounds, but who else? Shiloh Means with a huge interception. Penn down 3, looking to strike back.
Penn all of a sudden with the football down by just 3 points midway through the fourth quarter. Tigers were 3 down linemen, and this one blown dead. It's going to be the 8th penalty today against the Quakers.
Well, that softens the blow a little bit. They move back 5 yards if you're a Tiger fan. For the Penn Quakers, this is exactly where you want to be. You got the ball back. You got a chance to drive plenty of time. Time not a factor. And the offense has been clicking in this second half. Malachi Hosley's got to lead the way to make some room on the outside for the talented receivers that we've seen a bunch.
First down and 15 for the Quakers. Keeper O'Brien makes a man miss, gets tripped up, but gets up across the 30, so a nice gain on the 1st and 15 run.
Tremendous gain by O'Brien to get them right back on down and distance and on schedule for 2nd and 5. Again, that just opens up the entire playbook. Very hard to scheme against a 2nd and 5 play call.
O'Brien just 6 completions since the end of the first quarter, but he's done a nice job on the ground. This time it's Hosley, the running back, held to just a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
Princeton defense stopped Hosley on 4th and 1 on the last possession for the Penn Quakers, and now a gigantic 3rd and 4 relatively deep into Princeton territory, so it would be tough to call this 4 down territory for the Penn Quakers if they don't convert on 3rd down, given there's still just under 6 minutes to go in this one. So not quite desperation mode yet for the visiting Quakers.
Neither team all that successful on 3rd down. Penn just 4 of 11 this afternoon. 3rd down and 4. Bunch formation. O'Brien over the middle. Fires it incomplete. First down across midfield. B.C. Owens, the junior.
And that's where there's been a little bit of soft coverage, and they exploited it in the first half. It's that deep between the safeties, soft area in the middle of the field. And whether it's been B.C. Owens or Jared Richardson, they've found that soft spot and just sat down between defenders. And O'Brien did a nice job in extending the play in terms of taking time to let those routes progress.
First down and 10, just across midfield. O'Brien keeps it, and O'Brien gets leveled by Marco Scarano with the fist pump.
And on a little bit of read option that you saw there, you're reading the edge, and you're seeing where that defensive end is coming from, but it wasn't the defensive end. Well, it came from the edge and right up the middle, but the better decision there would be to hand it off to Hosley and see if he can get to the near corner.
Marco Scarano, his Ivy League leading 12th tackle for a loss this season, and he's just a junior. 2nd down and 13. O'Brien airing it out. Some air under it for Richardson, and it's out of bounds.
Third and 13. I think this could be 4 down territory if you get 10. Maybe 9. Any less than that, you're probably trying to pin the Tigers back as far as possible.
Yeah, both teams still with 3 timeouts remaining.
Yeah, but the clock, 4:22. That can be a lot of time. If you give it back, it turns into not a lot of time. So we'll see how this one goes on 3rd and 13.
They're down in 13, six-man rush. O'Brien is going to tuck it and run up the middle. Ball pops loose. Tigers say they have it. Taj Owens running away with the football, and it's Princeton causing the turnover. Third Tigers takeaway here on Senior Day. And that's Jalen Jones making his way to the turnover bell for the orange and black.
What a job by the Tiger defense, and exactly what you don't want to see for the Penn Quakers. O'Brien got almost that 10 yards I was talking about to maybe make that 4-down territory a 4th and 3, 4th and 4. Instead, he coughs it up. Princeton comes up with it. And as I said, 4:22 is an eternity when you're on offense and driving, but now the clock not in favor of the Penn Quakers as Princeton takes over.
Let's see if Princeton keeps it on the ground here. They do with John Volker. 3-yard run up to the 44.
If you're Princeton here, keep it inbounds, keep it on the ground, even if this is a 3 and out. If you don't turn it over, worst case scenario is you take 2 minutes off the clock and try to pin the Penn Quakers back as far as you can. If you're the Penn Quakers, you want to bring the heat. Blaine Hippa, the decision making, there's been some questionable ones today. Can you force the much needed turnover?
Princeton comes out of what we'll call a huddle with about 10 on the play clock, and now hustling to get set. Wassler in motion. They snap the football. Handoff Volker running right. Not a lot of real estate. Gets up to the 45. And Penn will not take a timeout here.
Yeah, if you're Penn, probably after this 3rd down.
If you're Penn, you almost don't want that much time left on the clock.
You don't. And remember, you have the 2-minute timeout now in Ivy League football. So that's kind of your 4th timeout if you're Penn in this situation. So not necessarily surprised they didn't take it after 2nd down. I'd be surprised if they didn't take it on 3rd down if Princeton keeps it on the ground.
John Volker in the backfield. Play clock down to 2, down to 1, down to 0. They just get it off. Slant over the middle. Colella makes the catch. 1st down, Princeton.
Wow, what a play call, what a conversion for Colella on Senior Day. A huge, huge play for the Princeton Tigers to go to the air, because if that's incomplete, that's a timeout essentially for the Penn Quakers, and it's 4th down. Instead, they gamble, they go to the air, and they convert.
And now Princeton will just run it down to the 2-minute timeout.
If you're Penn, I'd probably use a timeout right at 2:01 and get 2 here.
Ray Priori keeps the timeouts in his pocket. 2 minutes to go, 4th quarter. It's final day, 20, Penn 17. And the Tigers, after that slant to Colella, moving the chains and taking it into the 2-minute timeout. Blaine Hippa, the quarterback. John Volker, the running back on Senior Day. Got this one started 75 yards for a touchdown on the opening play. Across midfield at the 47, they give to Volker on 1st and 10, and he picks up a couple down to the 45, and now Penn takes a timeout.
They'll use their first timeout here. Get it 2nd and 8 for Princeton, and Princeton will likely keep it on the ground and at least have Penn expire their remaining 2 timeouts. So Princeton looking to get to 3 and 7 on the season, 2 and 5 in the league. Penn looking to get a stop here, drive the field to get to 500 on the season, and 3 and 4 in the league. Again, neither team is going to be getting rings after this one, with a 3-way tie for the Ivy League championship between Dartmouth, Harvard, and Columbia.
And for Penn, it's been a nice turnaround. They started Ivy League play 0-3, but they've won 2 of their last 3s, 4 of their 5 losses this season by 1 score. So that record at 4-5, a little bit deceiving. 1:56 to go, 3-point Princeton lead. Penn has 2 timeouts remaining. Second down and 8 at the Quaker 45 on the ground. John Volker right up the middle trying to move the pile. Picks up a couple down to the 42, and now the Quakers will use their second timeout. Volker today 14 carries, 123 yards and the touchdown.
And this is why I brought up before the 2-minute timeout. Do you take a timeout at 2:02 and then, basically, could you keep one timeout for your possession if you do get a 3 and out, right? Because they're going to expire all 3 here. If you use potentially one before the 2, you might be able to save one, likely not. But those are the games we like to play now that there's a 2-minute timeout and looking at the analytics and maybe getting a little
What
too
we
cute.
need is the analytic book that the teams are all working off of. Big third down here for the Tigers. Would also be interesting to see what Princeton does if they end up in a 4th and 1 or 2 situation. On the ground, Volker right side. It's not going to matter. First down, Princeton, and that should do it. John Volker on his senior day, sealing it for the Tigers.
He got it started for the Tigers with the 75-yard touchdown on the first offensive play of the game for the Tigers, and he's going to get the first down that ices a win on his class's senior day.
You can say this game for the standings doesn't matter. You look at John Volker and Blake Figgenspan, the center. This might be their final drive, their final couple of plays in orange and black. This one matters to them.
There's a lot on the line, and the same goes for the Penn Quakers. A lot of these seniors, I know in recent years, you have a year, you might see some of these players lace it up for a different team next year outside of the Ivy League. But for a majority of these players, this could be the last time they play a meaningful football game that might not be, a touch football game with the kids on Thanksgiving. So there's a lot on the line for these seniors and these players.
Is that previewing this week for Dave Giancola?
I have retired from the Turkey Bowl. I don't want to pull more hamstrings.
1:16 to go, fourth quarter, 20-17, Princeton on top. The Quakers have one timeout remaining. The Tigers just used their first. Waited until the play clock went down to 1. And now the Tigers can come out in victory formation.
No better formation on senior day. One of these teams was going to have it, and it's the hometown Princeton Tigers today that get to put a knee down or sit down on the ball to keep the clock running.
Yeah, Blaine Hippa was back to take a knee, and Penn just never came across, so the Tigers ran a couple of seconds. Clock is stopped. I'm not sure if Penn took their final timeout. Clock is stopped with 1:09 to go. Second down and 17, and yeah, I guess Penn did take their timeout, but they're not going to huddle up. Second and 17, Hippa takes a knee. Princeton will have to take one more knee on third down, and that'll seal this one up. So for the Princeton Tigers, if you're looking for positives, right, you end the season with a victory, a lot of underclassmen, key contributors here today. And you look at some of the seniors. John Volker, 130 yards on 15 carries and a touchdown. Luke Colella, 7 catches, 82 yards. So the seniors, something to feel really good about as they put the cap on their Princeton careers.
And the standings do mean something. You don't want to be alone at the bottom. I mean, this means something. And this is a rivalry game. And you come out, you try to win it for all the reasons we talked about for a few hours today. A special game here between two special head coaches, Bob Serace and Ray Priori. Princeton victorious here on senior day.
20-17, the final score. Princeton with the victory as they down the Penn Quakers for the 5th time in the last 6 meetings and send their seniors out one final time with a victory here on Powers Fields. So Princeton will finish the regular season 2-5 in the Ivy League.